Well, welcome to Chicago, Sarah. Welcome to Shuba's. All right. Last time, or I should ask first, just tell us a little bit about how you're liking Chicago. Have you been here before?
I have been to Chicago a handful of times. I happen to have fallen madly in love with the city, and I think it's amazing. There's something for everybody. I've had nothing but great experiences with restaurants, with concerts, with the people I've met. Just the overall vibe of the city is just unbelievable. So I always love coming to Chicago, and the fans are incredible as well. So we've had a good time.
What is it for you in Chicago? Is it the fans, or is it something else that's sort of your place here?
I don't know exactly. It's kind of chemistry with a city is an interesting thing. It's either it's there or it's not.
Yeah.
There's lots of amazing cities that I've visited that for some reason I don't have that passion to sort of return immediately. But no, Chicago, I came for the first time with my dad and my sister just as a tourist.
Oh, cool.
And went to Wrigley Field and did it all up. It was awesome.
I guess you were here before. Last time you came to Chicago, you sold out the House of Blues. Why come to a smaller venue like Shuba's?
We made the conscious decision for this tour, which is called the Gravity Tour, to choose really intimate venues in each city that we're going to. And we're doing multiple nights at each venue, and we wanted to just create kind of the connection, get back to the connection. The whole theme of the tour is kind of coming back to where we started from, and to get back to that really conversational show, and where audiences feel like they saw something that was really unique, like you're one of a few people chosen to be in any given scenario. I think, seeing some of my favorite shows are when I've seen artists in a more intimate venue. Somehow everyone just feels a little bit more comfortable, a little more, they loosen up a little bit. So yeah, we chose a bunch of incredible venues, and it's been by far my favorite tour I've ever done.
Well, thank you for doing that. I know probably all of us really appreciate that. I want to know when you started piano lessons. Can you tell me a little bit about your first piano lessons?
Yes, I started piano in 6th grade. No, I think I was younger than that. Maybe like 4th grade or something, and I did it for a little while, and then it got hard, and then I quit. So I'm not very proud of that part, but I took enough to kind of get comfortable with the idea of playing the piano, and then from there it was just kind of I just kind of fallen in love with being at the piano, and I would spend all sorts of hours in front of songbooks and trying to decipher, songs I heard on the radio and stuff like that. So.
Can you tell me a little bit about your influences, and then also do your influences affect your creative process, your writing process at all?
I definitely think that your influences shape who you are as a musician. They, whether you sound like the artist you listen to or not, I think that it's all kind of in the ether, and it definitely affects what comes out. I listen to a ton of Bob Marley, and I don't sound anything like Bob Marley, but I believe that sort of that music is inside of me somewhere. So that's definitely something I draw from. But I got started really early listening to a lot of Broadway, and I did a lot of I did musical theater, but that's a lot of what I listened to, like you name it, and I was all over it, from Phantom of the Opera to Les Mis to Scarlet Pimpernel and Mystery of Edmund Drood, like all sorts of random weird shows. And then that kind of parlayed into more storytelling musicians. I loved people like Paul Simon and Joni Mitchell, and then I got really into sort of blues with Sam Cooke and Ray Charles and Etta James, and I listened to a lot. I listen to a little bit of a lot, and so my tastes are really eclectic, and I think that kind of shows in my music too.
Your new CD is called Little Voice, and obviously you have nothing near a little voice. Can you tell us why you called it that?
I chose the title Little Voice because it was kind of about my journey making the record, and it was the process of me learning how to listen to myself again. And when I first got into the studio, I felt like I I didn't know what my opinion was. I didn't know how to articulate it. Even if I could figure out what my opinion was, I really felt lost in a lot of ways. And I just, the idea of learning to listen to the little voice inside of you became this really profound concept to me. It seems so simple, but it was so hard for me to get to a place where I could listen to myself think. And it just became my mantra. And I would sort of have to quiet myself and remind me to just listen to what you have to say and try to go from there. And so little voice became this overarching concept.
Cool. Everybody seems to be learning the new the love song that you just put out, since it's on the new Apple's GarageBand.
Oh!
And I'm just wondering if you can tell us the story behind Love Song to close us out
Yeah,
here.
Love Song I wrote sort of as a stick it to 'em to my record company. Nobody sat me down and said, I want you to love. Everyone is like, everyone always says, oh, they asked you to write a love song. And no, they never did. But I chose the idea of a love song because it's a really cliche kind of, this big, like, oh, we need a love song. Nobody said that, but I was just feeling frustrated. I turned in ideas that people weren't gravitating towards, and that was the first time I dealt with that on any sort of major level like that. It was the first time I was working with the label at all, and so I got really insecure, and then I got really angry about the fact that I had been letting them kind of shape me up so much.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite line from that song? Favorite lyric?
Well, it starts with head underwater and you tell me to breathe easy for a while. Breathing gets harder, even I know that. That's the first verse. Head underwater and you tell me to breathe easy for a while. Breathing gets harder, even I know that. And breathing gets harder is a reference to my friends in Maroon 5, and their first hit was called Harder to Breathe, and that was a song also directed at their record label at the time. So I was kind of referencing friends and kind of going through the same process of feeling frustration, and so that I don't know. That's something that was like a little hidden meaning, I guess.
Cool. Very cool. Well, thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, you guys. Appreciate it.
Anything else?